With just 10 days to go until Revolution, All Elite Wrestling charges into Phoenix. But was it a good show? Was it a bad show? Let's talk about it all, shall we? I'm Jarl right now with my review of AEW Dynamite from Phoenix, Arizona, where the Suns always play and seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the crowd was active all day. Okay, so this show was better than last week's show. That's not saying much, though, because there were still problems. They have a pay-per-view coming up in not very much time, and honestly, I'm not all that excited about it. I will watch it, I will order it, absolutely, because I have no problem plunking down the $50 in the US for an AEW pay-per-view, because they only do a few a year. But man, the build for some of these matches has just not been that great. Some feuds that just have gone on for goddamn ever. Anyway, I'll talk about that when I do my predictions sometime next week. So Excalibur, Taz, and Shivani on commentary. The crowd was loud. Now, it is an 18,000 seat arena. I don't know if they just used half of it and put a curtain down the middle. I have no idea. It was certainly louder than I believe they were in Laredo last week. But that's not saying much, because they could have just, put white noise on. They would have been, nevertheless, whatever. It is what it is. So, what do we start with? Orange Cassidy versus Wheeler Yuta for the All-Atlantic Championship. Okay, there are people that like Orange Cassidy. That's fine. I have no particular issue with him, except I think the shtick is old. I don't think he is as good as other people say he is, but that's my opinion. Wheeler Yuta, I don't mind. He can do the moves, and he did well in the Best of Super Juniors tournament that he was part of. The All-Atlantic Championship doesn't mean shit. They got too many titles. The whole Ring of Honor influence, all that stuff. I get it. They're trying to make Ring of Honor a separate thing, and they're trying to get people championships. But they have so many championships, and they have enough wrestlers. It's a mess. It's a mess, and this title doesn't mean anything. And while these guys certainly have their fans, I did not care about this. I did not care about this one bit. Now, was this a bad match? No. But was it a match I cared about? No. Claudio at one point gets upset. Yuta comes down, and when a 6'3" Swiss man hits you with a volley of repeated strokes to the head, you are going to either get motivated or turned on, or both. I will be taking no further questions upon this whole thing. But he gets fired up. Wheeler Yuta fires up and throws him over the ringside table. Orange Cassidy, not Claudio. That would have been weird. But we get boos because Wheeler Yuta is being the heel. And had this gone 8 minutes, it would have been fine. This went about 20. Close to it. And I know all championship matches have a 30 to 60 minute, I think it's a 60-minute time limit. But nevertheless, even if it had a 30-minute time limit, it still would have been getting close to that. Like, this is 20 minutes on cable television for something that should have gone half that. So, we get a DDT on the floor that should have probably knocked Wheeler Yuta out. But nope, he takes another DDT, but he's right back up to hit a pile driver soon afterwards. No selling for days. Orange punch, and then beach break, just for two. And then another orange punch, seated edition, 1, 2, 3. Yay. Good. Orange Cassidy has the All-Atlantic Championship. Jane, you ignorance. Okay. Claudio then stops Wheeler Yuta from hugging Orange Cassidy, because we can't have the best friends reunion. We shouldn't have the best friends in general, at least as a stable. You can have them just wrestle without having 80 million stables in a company. That goes for AEW, that goes for New Japan, that goes for any company. Renee was with Hangman and Evil Uno. Uno is going to show Jon Moxley who Evil Uno is. He sees you. You were right on camera. It's pretty obvious. There is only one Evil Uno, and you are him. And then Starks comes out, and after a break, he says, well, we're running low on time, so I got to get this done. So basically, this segment took another 6 to 8 minutes at least, if not longer. It seemed to take longer. He's tired of the Jericho Appreciation Society and Jericho. But you know what? I'm going to move on from them. And I got an open challenge. I got a contract for an open challenge for Revolution. Anybody, come on down. Here comes Jericho. Well, here comes Jericho. And then, you're done when I say you are. But yada, yada, same thing. Where was your wife on January 6th? You dumb son of a bitch. Stupid Chris Jericho. Nevertheless, he's like, you're done when I say you're done, but you're not on my level. Yeah, this. And then here's Peter Avalon, who I didn't realize got a haircut, and I didn't recognize him at all. He got laid out with the juice effect with a spike jacket. Ooh. And then Jericho walks to the ring, and we're going to have the match because basically they do the rabbit season, duck season thing where Starks uses reverse psychology and basically says, well, you beat two legends in one night and everything. You should do this on your own. Booker T interfered in that match against Stone Cold, by the way. I mean, I know they can't actually say that, but he didn't do it on his own. Just saying, he didn't do it on his own. Yeah, he beat Rock and Stone Cold in one night, but nevertheless, he says, oh, but I know you could beat me, but you just have them come down. He's like, oh, that's fine. If I had a pen or if I had a way to do this, I'd write down right now. I write in an addendum, the Jericho Appreciation Society can't interfere, but I don't have a pen. Well, I do. And then Jericho does the pen thing. You just made the list. Referencing something, back that he actually contributed that was positive to wrestling. As opposed to just things that give you a positive reaction to where you need to go to the goddamn clinic. No one outsmarts Chris Jericho. Pretty easy to do that. So, Ricky Starks versus Jericho. Please have Ricky win. Just end this feud. Please end this feud. Feud shouldn't have been going on as long as it was. And if he had just beat him in Seattle and that had been it, that would have been fine. I have a feeling they're going to have somebody else from the Jericho Appreciation Society try to interfere, but they did say later, everyone is banned from ringside, which means all the fans are going to leave. It's going to be really boring. It's going to be an empty arena match. You're going to have to tape it before and just show it on the big screen. I kid, of course. Okay, then a bunch of brief pre-tapes for all the tag teams and a tag team battle royal. Yay, I love battle royals and tournaments, and AEW is one of the many companies that have made me sick of them by this point. Caster mentions, or does a few knocks, talks about Stokely, having a cast because he jerks on his dick, and then saying that hey, Big Bill, your girl gave me a call, or your girl called me, she said you're SAWFT. That's good. That's pretty good. So anyway, it is the Acclaim with Billy versus Big Billy Willie, aka Big Bill, aka the former Big Cass. The former William Ass Morrissey and Lee Moriarty with Stokely. Stokely dressed like a child version of Malcolm X. The crowd was into this. Scissor Zona, that was a pretty creative chant. Here's the thing, Rick Knox, so I'm amazed that anything was called. I'm amazed he remembered how to count to 3, considering that he's been around since Methuselah was here, but nevertheless, the Guns show up on the stage, and then they attack Billy a little bit later. I point out, by the way, Big Billy Willie sucks. He is terrible. He is not good. Mic drop, 1, 2, 3. That's really all I have to say about this. This show could benefit from having a couple 6-minute matches where you get people wins, like people that you want to feature. Hobbs, Wardlow, others. People that you just feature on Dark Elevation that you have under contract that you're paying tens of thousands of dollars to, that you're paying exorbitant contracts to. You could use people instead of having matches like Orange Cassidy and Wheeler Yuta go 20 goddamn minutes. You could cut that in half and have 2 5-minute matches or a couple. I know they have AEW Dark and Dark Elevation. It's just they could do better things. I mean, yes, they had Hangman versus Kip Sabian last week, and that was about 6.5 minutes, but it was Kip fucking Sabian, and nobody really wanted to watch Kip Sabian. Nevertheless, we get a 3-way scissoring. Yeah! And then we go, Shivani, we're bringing out Christian on the stage. And then Jungle Boy, OEO, attacks him, blindsides him with the elbow, and beats him up, and then leaves. And then he brings 2 chairs. But then he's too conflicted in the concerto, and then Christian hits a low blow and busts him on the chair and busts him open. And I encompassed that and, tried to get that all done and concisely, analyzed, if that was even English, a lot quicker than they took to accomplish it. Cool. I don't need to see this feud anymore. Blow it off, have Jungle Boy beat Christian at Revolution, and just call it from there. They have one more Dynamite after this. March 1st. Which actually I'm going to be watching live, by the way, because I'm going to have a schedule change. And I'm kind of glad I watched Dynamite on delay now, just for a little bit of a quick thing, because the show has not meant all that much for a while. There are great moments and matches I have really enjoyed. There are promos I've really enjoyed. I'll be getting to one here in a second. But by and large, AEW is in a lot of trouble. They're in a lot of trouble. Joe's trying to make sense of this Wardlow feud. Soraya, defender of Abuserverse, with Toni Storm took out Sky Blue. Okay. I think Soraya is easily the worst big name signing that Tony Khan has done. Yeah, you could argue Jake Hager, and he's collected more money. But Soraya just has brought down the entire women's division. This whole thing has not worked. Toni Storm feels marginalized. Anybody that Soraya works with does not benefit from working with her at all. They made Aubrey look like an idiot when she could have literally used her peripheral vision to see Toni Storm distracting, menacing, and doing more distraction spots later. Sky Blue isn't bad. She needs more time, but she's not bad. But this was not good. I'm sorry. This was not good. It was given some time, but then eventually Soraya wins with the clover leaf double arm thing that she used to do. I think it was called the Rampager eventually. I think that's what it was called. Isn't that what it was? And she hadn't done it so long because I haven't given a shit about Paige, Soraya, and so goddamn long. There you go. Then they're going to do the paint spot. But Jamie Hayter, who I think forgot to put on her pants, which I'm not complaining about at all, and Britt show up. And then here's Ruby Soho, whose side is she on? She's on the side of winning championships. Here's Danielson to talk up the MJF feud. I'm going to try and trim this down a bit because this did go long. Some of it was good. Some of it I felt was a little bit over the top, and they're really trying to juice this thing up. He talks about how, MJF hates me, but he does all this stuff, and he tried to break the arm of a 20-year friend, Christopher Daniels. He beat me and put a bounty on my head, all this, but he hates me. And then he took out my mentor, William Regal, which got huge boos. Stop bringing up Regal. I get it. Yes, it would have been nice if Regal had still stayed around, but maybe Regal saw, hey, this isn't fucking working. I want to go back. And he wanted to work with his son. So that got some boos. Here's MJF. And basically says everybody who, I hate you because everybody who claims that they love me has left me. Even a woman that I had proposed to and wanted to start a family with. She left me. The only one that hasn't left me is this championship. Boiling it down right there. And then he says, I hate you because of this, and, you have a family, you have what I want, you have a family, and you neglect that because you've had so much head trauma, and yeah, the head trauma thing, we know it, yeah, I understand why they brought it up, it got a little bit weird, and he kept bringing up, like, every time you get in there, you had so many concussions, you were having seizures, you have a family, you have this, but you get in the ring because you're selfish, you're so selfish, and that's why I kicked your leg out of your leg. Sorry, Royal Rumble 94 flashbacks. God bless Owen Hart. Man, he was just so gifted, even if that promo is just so meme-worthy. But he's talking about all that, mentions Regal. Yes, we get it. Move the fuck on. Focus on some people in your own goddamn company now. And, I'm going to speak to your children. Danielson says, you leave my children out of this, I'm going to beat your ass. And then Danielson proceeds to stand there for a while where he says, I'm going to make sure Dada, his arm's broken and he can't play with you. And I'm going to make sure that your Dada has early onset CTE, boom, all this and everything. And it was a good segment. I mean, I'm boiling it down to a few of the bullet points there. They get in a brief brawl, and then officials come out, and then they do to separate the break free. I want to break free. And then Danielson manages to run around and get MJF on the outside, and he broad arms him. Really good broad arm. Safe, I hope, because MJF went down in a heap. That was pretty good. And then there you go. Pretty good stuff. So anyway, Shivani is in with Jamie and Britt, and she says, Ruby and Soraya are worthy. Let's have a three-way. Oh my. Not that Soraya isn't used three ways on camera. Anyway, let's get to something else that was a goddamn mess. Tag teams all around the ring. I don't remember everybody that was there. It's a tag team battle royal. The winning team gets slotted into the 4-way that the Guns and the Acclaimed are already part of. And then we get a casino battle royal next week with more tag teams because Tony Khan assigned everybody, their mother and their Smothers brother, into the goddamn company. And that's great that people are gaining employment, but goddamn, it's ridiculous. The Butcher, the Blade, Top Flight, Nice and Woods. At one point, Mark Briscoe comes out and attacks Woods, and they go to the back, and both members of the team have to be eliminated. They could have cut this down significantly if they just had one member of the team being eliminated. The Best Friends are also there. The Lucha Bros, various other teams. I don't care. Nothing against these people in particular. Danhausen got in, did some comedy because that's all they're going to have Danhausen do because it's really all he can do. And this went through 2 breaks. This went through 2 goddamn breaks. I love Battle Royals and I love tournaments and I'm sick of them now. Jeff Jarrett ends up winning because Giant Silva Jr. kept stopping him from being eliminated. So Jarrett and Lethal are going to be part of the 4-way. And I imagine it's so Lethal can take the pin. I know that his dad just passed away, but this is what you did? All those teams, whatever. It was a no-win situation because if they put a good team in there or a team that people like the Lucha Bros, and people would have been pissed when the Lucha Bros didn't win. This is just a mess and ate up a lot of time. And then the House of Black are calling out the Elite. We're getting that match at Revolution. Be Still My Beating Apathy. More trios nonsense. Khan's announcement, he defers to Atom Core, baby. And it's going to be AEW All Access. That's the big announcement. Couldn't you just say Tony Khan has an announcement? Don't make a huge announcement. Maybe they were told by by Warner Bros. Discovery to say something because they want more sports-based stuff, so it's all access, it's all backstage stuff. Cool. I don't care. If it's anything like Total Divas, it's going to at least be comedic at first, and then it's going to overstay its welcome. And if they try to be like HBO Sports, I still don't think they're going to have the same feel. So it is what it is. The Guns then try to reason with Team TNA about the 4-way coming up. And also Adam Cole's returning to the ring, I believe next week, he said. Random, would have thought it would have happened at the pay-per-view. Maybe they're cutting down the matches at the pay-per-view so it doesn't go 16 hours with a 60-minute time limit match. No, it'll probably still go 5 hours. What didn't go 5 hours was Moxley versus Evil Uno. This match started with 7 minutes left because Moxley made his entrance. Evil Uno made his entrance during the break. And Evil Uno jump starts, even does a dive, does a few things, and then Mox takes over, rips at his mask, hits him in the steps, bloodies him, because blood in a Moxley match, it must be a day that ends in Y, but Moxley isn't bleeding yet, my God. The calendar is changing, the world is ending! He beats Evil Uno by choking him out, basically. Evil Uno and Jon Moxley were in the main event of a cable television show. So then what ends up happening is we get the last 2 remaining Dark Order members, Silver and Reynolds, attacking, and then Claudio and Yuta, and it's a big old fracas, and then Hangman has new theme music, apparently, which has angered everybody. I don't necessarily care as long as the music sort of fits. And he comes down and brawls and has a barbed wire fisty thing and fists Jon Moxley, and then Moxley's bleeding as we go off the air. Yeah. You know, I like AEW and I want AEW to succeed. I like wrestling. Sometimes some aspects of some shows just beat me down. I think AEW's just gotten to the point where they've done every goddamn thing they can, and it's just getting to where it's just cycling around. And I really hope Revolution is good. I really hope it is, but I worry it's going to be their least bought pay-per-view because they just have run out of everything and every way to hype it. They're spinning their wheels. Hopefully they can make a deal. Hopefully nobody's snake turns on them, because when your snake turns on you, you know you made some bad life choices. Anyway, agree, disagree what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Reckland. I'll see you soon.